I'm always like very like real and raw, like vulnerable with my types of content. So you'll see me talking on Facebook or like LinkedIn about times where I've maybe lost my biggest deal or failed or made one of my biggest mistakes and learned like X from it. So I'm doing like pains and then the gains, like what I learned from it. And I think anytime that you can be vulnerable and keep it real with your audience, like they're going to resonate with that and respect that.
So you have a passion for fitness and the desire to start your own business. But launching a massively successful fitness business is extremely complex. The systems, operations, hiring, firing, coaching, sales, and marketing are critical to success. Where do you even start? This show will give you the answers. Here is Bedros Keuilian and Bryce Henson, your hosts of the Fitness Franchise Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms.
Welcome back to another incredible episode, as today is going to be one that's on fire, as today's guest is a good friend of mine and the founder of Assistagram, which is a company that empowers influencers and Fortune 500 companies to connect with real followers and their target audience. Now, dubbed the influencer's secret weapon by Entrepreneur Magazine, Zach has helped influencers such as Les Brown, Yannick Silver, Russell Brunson, and more cut through the noise to accrue millions of followers on Instagram. Now, throughout his career, Zach has shared the stage with powerhouse speakers such as, wait for it, Tony Robbins, Sylvester Stallone, Grant Cardone, Damon John, and Gary Vee, sharing his expertise on Instagram growth. Zach Benson, welcome to the show, my friend. Super pumped to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bryce. Pleasure to be here.
Dude, man, you are awesome. So excited to connect and, for allow you to share your knowledge bombs today. But before we get to that, give us the backstory.
Yeah, so actually I'm in South Korea now. And, I was actually born in South Korea. And when I was like 5 months old, I was adopted by my parents in the States. Grew up in this place called Iowa, man. And pretty much lived in Iowa my whole life. And just early on in my year, I struggled a lot because one, I looked different, and two, like I spoke different. So I had the speech impediment, and I was really afraid to talk to people, Bryce. So I never thought I'd be sharing stages with like Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and speaking in crowds for like 10,000, 20,000 people because I was very shy and introverted. And so long story short, like I ended up taking these speech therapy classes and then finding like my voice. And I started to become more confident and speak more when I found breakdancing. So breakdancing kind of like changed my life. It became my fire, my passion, and then I used it to teach dance all around the world. So before this Assistagram and Instagram and social media marketing stuff, I was just a breakdancer traveling the world, 75 countries. I was on So You Think You Can Dance. And towards the end of my career, I was actually making $1,000 just teaching dance workshops.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And also probably something you didn't know, Bryce, is that I studied exercise science and human anatomy kinesiology. So I was a personal trainer for a couple of years, actually.
Interesting. When was that? Was that in college or?
Yeah, so it was what I studied in college, and then after college, I found my birth mom, went to Korea, reconnected with her, performed a year of service in Atlanta, Georgia, with World Relief, a resettlement agency for refugees. So I helped them find jobs and homes and transition to America. Wow. And then after that experience, I was like, okay, it's time to use my college major now. Like, I'm going to go back and study, and became a personal trainer, certified trainer in Iowa for a couple of years. And that's when I pursued my dance, because I was like, hand in hand, perfect timing. I can train people all day and then train myself all day, and had the gym and dance studio and stuff. So yeah, that's how I got really good. But then I got fired from that job.
Well, why is that?
Because I was teaching dance too much, right? I was training. I was top trainer. I was breaking sales records and training pretty much all day, like 10, 11 hours a day. And my boss was just like, okay, well, I see you dancing. That's good too, but you got to choose one. Like you either be here or you got to be out like traveling and teaching dance. And I thought, since I'm like top trainer, like I kind of had ego then. I was like, okay, I don't think you're gonna fire me, but let's just keep doing it. And then got let go from that job, which was the best thing that has ever happened to me, because then I made that leap of faith and I really went all in with my dance dreams. And like I said, I was also able to monetize it and do it for several years.
Yeah. Well, Zach, when I think of you, first and foremost, I think of an expert marketer, a business owner, extremely, talented guy and social with skill set, and also too, like a world traveler, right? So those are the kind of the big things that come to mind. But before we kind of get into that, the marketing, Assistagram, you touched on it or just went over it, but elaborate a little bit more. So what was the dance career like? You said 75 countries, do break dance, unpack that a little bit more.
Yeah. So it was always a dream of mine to just like simply travel, because to me, life is all about people. It's like learning and experiencing new cultures. Like that's life to me, seeing how people live and arrange their lives. Like it's so beautiful. And so even early on, like when I was growing up, I was just like, like I just want to like someday I want to travel the world and teach in another country, teach to people who speak another language. And I just realized that and envisioned that and made it happen. And I guess like for dance, like the reason why I think I got so good in such a short period of time was because when I choose something that I really love, I just go all out. I like you, Bryce, right? You studied abroad in Asia.
Yeah.
I studied abroad in Spain and Mexico for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And reason I did that was, one, because Spanish was my second major, and two, there was a really top breakdancing crew in Spain, like top 10 in the world.
Okay.
And so I just basically did two things while I was there. I'm like, I'm not here to party or do anything. I didn't go out. I just like shut myself in my room, locked myself in the room, and studied Spanish. And then I'd take like a 4 to 6 hour break during the afternoon, like late evenings, and then just break dance 4 to 6 hours every single day. And I did that with one of the world's best. So
holy smokes.
That's how I got really good. And then from there, the reason why I was able to travel to 75 countries and teach was not because I was the best. I never won So You Think You Can Dance, the TV show. I was a participant on there. I made it to round 4, final round, top 100. But I never won the show. But I was good enough. The guy was like, you're good enough to just teach breakdance. So don't put your eggs all in one basket. Like, I've seen you try out a few times, but go out and make a name for yourself. He's like, you're like Nez Quick. Like, I drink chocolate drinks before the battles and competitions and my performances. He's like, why don't you contact Nestle? See if you can do a partnership or get them sponsored you. And I made a creative video, got Nez Quick to sponsor my video. They shouted it out, blasted it on social media across their 20, 50 million fans. And I mean, this thing started to blow up after that. And it was simply I ran with the idea, hired a videographer that at that time did all of my video stuff for free. I didn't have a lot of money then. And then
how'd you arrange that?
Yeah, I was like, hey, I was on So You Think You Can Dance, and the executive producer told me gave me this idea. Like, how would you like to be credited in my video and shouted out? And I think we have a really good chance on getting picked up by Nestle. And so he was down for that, because he was also my coworker at the gym, like a sales guy, and just did video stuff part-time. So we're already friends and just made a win-win. And yeah, it was crazy.
Hustling, man. Well, you're a great connector and networker as well, and obviously a really solid dude, so it's easy for me to see that you'd be able to create relationships like that. Now, kind of transitioning, you had the skill set there, but then you decided, okay, from a business perspective, based off that piece of advice, you're actually going to coach. So, you created some videos that push that out, but how did you actually create the coaching program or the workshop program? How did you market it? And then again, where did you deliver these workshops?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. This is fun. And so basically, I'm like an Iowa boy. So what I what like also Russell Brunson teaches my client, right? So he's founder of ClickFunnels,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of the inventor of the funnels. And so in his book, what he talks about in Expert Secrets is kind of like you have to like get really niche down. Okay, like okay, you could be in health, or you could be in wellness, but like what type of like health training, what type of coaching programs, is it nutrition, what type of strength training, what type of dance, is it just normal dance, can you do all styles, or is it break dance? So I like niched down 5 times, where at that time I didn't know I was following some of his steps, but I created my target market was teaching dance students at mom and pop studios around Iowa in the Midwest
Mm-hmm.
that just wanted to try something new and fun. Like, every kid's dream, or a lot of the, like, us boys, like when we're growing up, like 3, 5 years old, we just move around and we're like doing like breakdance moves, like it seems. So I started making breakdance cool for boys, because a lot of their sisters were already at dance studio doing ballet and jazz, and I kind of pitched it to the studio owners saying, hey, this could be something fun where we're going to boost their confidence, teach them new moves, improve their attitudes, make them stronger through breakdance. And it's
Mm-hmm.
dance is more like back then, like this was 2006, 7, 8, like more for a girls thing.
Yeah.
And so I made it cool for boys. And then I just chose 3 age groups. I'm like, okay, let's do age 5 to 8, 9 to 12, and 13 and up. I created a win-win with the studio. I said, hey, like, let's charge, $15 per student. I'll give you $5 per student that signs up. And, sometimes 30, 40, 50 kids came in my classes. And then as I built up my street cred, I started charging more because I became better, and I was winning competitions and battles and on So You
Mm-hmm.
Think You Can Dance. And with that name, So You Think You Can Dance, I leveraged that, and that's when I was able to charge $40, $50 and maybe for a 2-hour class, 3 age groups. So I just basically taught at 3 different studios in the area that I was traveling to,
Mm-hmm.
kind of not competing with each other, but far enough, like an hour away or 2 hours away, where there's no competition,
Yeah.
and just did that every week for like 5 years.
So where did that confidence come from? Because we just talked about you were introverted, you were shy. For then you to kind of break out of your shell, not only to become a very successful dancer, but then decide to basically launch a coaching business. That sounds like you had to have a good amount of confidence still. Like, what was your aha, or how did you kind of overcome that obstacle of your introvertedness?
Yeah. So I mean, well, let me also tell you this. Like like when I first started like my coaching business, like I like nobody knew me, right? They're like, okay, who is Zach? Like I reached out to a dance studio in Iowa, and I basically just said, hey, like this is what I want to do. She's like, how much do you charge? I'm like, $500 an hour. Like that's what I wanted to get paid. She's like, but Zach, I can't find anything about you. Like, you don't have a website. You don't have any professional photography videos, no testimonials, references. You haven't like why should I pay you $500 an hour? And then that's when it clicked. It's like, okay, I got to go build my brand, build a name for myself. And then that's when I did So You Think You Can Dance. That's when I created professional video, uh, photography, references. And so, Bryce, I was starting out, like, I wasn't getting paid. Like, I would just volunteer at dance studios and do free workshops for a summer,
Mm-hmm.
and they paid me like $50. I'd like teach every day, and I only got $50, but I got a really solid testimonial, and just I rinsed and repeated the process. So to answer your question, like how did I build that confidence? I think it's always kind of been innate, where it's just like I'm not afraid of getting rejected and people saying no. Like even my whole life, even when I was younger, like I reached out to John Berardi, Precision Nutrition, like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like, and I was like, yo, John, like JB, read a book of yours, and like you really inspire me. Like I want to come work for you and be an intern." And then like, he answered, and
Wow.
it's just crazy. Or like I see like read things and just reach out to people, and so that was also the reason why the business grew, was because people didn't reach out to me. Like again, I wasn't well known, famous. I took initiative and reached out to people, got rejected over and over again, but I found the studios and the people that wanted my classes, and that's how I was able to make it a six-figure business, $1,000 an hour class, right?
Love it, man. Love it.
But
And that's a huge takeaway and learning lesson, right? Because our audience are entrepreneurs are interested to kind of launch their own business, and when you first start, you typically don't have a name for yourself, and certainly there's value in aligning yourself with a brand like we have at Fit Body Bootcamp. But for the vast majority of people, you're starting from the ground up, and it's about putting in the work, about putting yourself out there. And grant at the time you were creating your kind of a solopreneur kind of experience, if you will, but there's a lot of gold and learning lessons in that journey from my perspective.
yeah, definitely.
So speaking of Russell Brunson, which I want to kind of talk about, like, you transition into your social marketing genius, if you will, but a little backstory. And Zach, I don't think you know this, but our CEO, or my CEO, Bedros, who's a co-host of this particular podcast, connected with me or introduced me to Russell Brunson's, trilogy, which you referred to. He's buddies with Russell, and I know you are too, or at least he's a client of yours. But the kind of backstory of this podcast is, as I was reading that book and then reading what would be Traffic Secrets, like over and over again, the idea of kind of creating content and podcasting and marketing all came to be. And then that book led to, being introduced to John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire, and kind of purchasing his training. And that's just kind of how this particular podcast came to be. And of course, with a big vision of really empowering fitness entrepreneurs to grow and start and grow successful gyms. But kind of talk to me about the marketing world, and how your connections kind of evolved, and how Assistagram evolved, because that was kind of your next step after coaching from a studio from a dance perspective.
Yeah, so I hurt my back in India, which kind of ended my career, and then with no plan B, like the guy who got me into dancing called me up and was like, "Zach, you got to get in on this Instagram stuff. Like, me and my brother making a lot of money, growing a lot of people's accounts." So he was like, "Yeah, you got to get in on this." So after this post-surgery, I had to send him a check, like $10,000 to Miami, and I purchased about 15% of a 400,000 follower Instagram account. So that's how I got in, right? It's like you can purchase courses, Instagram pages, and acquire them as assets, right? And
so say that metric again one more time, just so you purchase what percentage of what?
Like 15% of a 400,000 follower Instagram account in the comedy space.
Comedy?
And, yeah. So
I thought you were going to say travel.
Back then I was, really into travel, but he only had this comedy account for sale opportunity. And so we focused and grew comedians, or wannabe comedians, and made comedians bigger on Instagram. And so we just rinsed and repeated the process, and then started acquiring more pages, buying more accounts, and just now we have like a 200 million network on Instagram, social media, and working with some big brands. And Russell, he's a client. We do his his LinkedIn now too. So it's cool. It's cool to be growing some of these top marketers and people, and helping them grow and dominate social media. But yeah, I love.
So probably like the $1 million question, but okay, you get in there, you were able to kind of purchase part of a group or a list, and then that kind of you rinse and repeat. But you obviously had to grow those pages, and certainly industry secret. But can you share a little bit about some strategy behind that, really the tactics on how you're able to execute that?
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, well, this is an easy win, right? Because my friend's already got his network and making money. So if I tap into it, then I can belong into his network and partner with all these kids, these high schoolers that are just crushing it on Instagram, growing pages back then.
Back then is in what year?
Yeah, this was 2015, 16.
Okay.
10,000 followers a day, just through shout outs and stuff. It was crazy, but they just had a big network of millions of followers, and they just promote the clients on these our network pages and do hundreds to thousands of shout outs every day through stories and posts. And that's how people got their followers. But the reason why how I learned Instagram so well was because of that. But then I did outreach to people who are just killing it, crushing it on Instagram. And I was like, hey, can I pay you for a power hour? Like, teach me all of your secrets. I'll pay you. Like, what do you want to be paid? And, they just said like $500, man. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, let's do it. And then basically that's how I learned. And I created, some of them became my employees, worked for me, started managing, growing accounts. And then later on, we developed our own software tool where we were doing automation and growing accounts. That was like 2016 through 18, when Instagram's algorithms were friendly enough. Now they're too smart, so they, you can't do automation, you can't run it because that'll get your account shut down. So then we pivoted again, and now we're back to the old system,
which is
just have a massive network doing shout outs, promoting clients on the daily. So it's how we grow now, is through shout outs, like giveaways, loops, and doing reposts. Because like my Zach Vacay page, it's all reposts. So I take other people's content, repurpose it, give them credit, use the engagement groups, the hashtags, some strategies that I can talk about, and then post. And it's none of my content. And
just
the reason,
repurposed.
It's repurposed, and the reason is because I'm inspiring other people that want to be part of my travel community to teach them how to become a destination travel influencer and teach them how I travel the world for free.
Yeah.
And partner with big countries and tourism boards. And so now I have a Facebook group just dedicated to that. But that's my funnel, like posting all this viral, crazy travel content.
Yeah.
From other creators and growing my page that way. That's how we grew it from 0 to, it's only over 100,000 followers, but I spent zero money on it.
Only, right? But then that's the funnel from Instagram, but then you put them into a Facebook group to kind of curate and kind of create that community, or?
So my funnel is, they see a viral video, a travel video, it gets them to my page. They normally follow my page because it's all travel related content, and they want to get reposted because they also know I have a big travel network.
Yep.
And the call to action is in my Instagram bio. I say, learn how we travel the world for free. Link to my Forbes article. And in the Forbes article, it's all about value and just, travel hacks and growth hacks. And at the bottom of the article, I'm like, hey, if you're really serious about this thing, click on this link and we'll give you a free guide, right? And you'll also be able to join our community. And so then it brings them to my Facebook chatbot, and then everything's automated. It's like, hey, I see that you want this free guide. What's your best email? They type it in, boom, it's on its way. It's coming. By the way, we have a really cool like one-time offer right now. It's free, but if you want, say yes or no. Like, do you want into this free travel hacking Facebook group where I share like all of my secrets?
Okay.
And I get about like 50, 60 people say yes, I want in, like every day. So that's my funnel. And then I go live and I sell my masterminds. My last mastermind was like 18,000 per couple, 10,000 per person. And yeah, I had a few people show up just from my travel group. It was cool.
Good on you. Is that a year-long coaching program for the mastermind, or is it one event? Or one-time thing. And it's 5 nights in one of the best, most beautiful hotels in the Maldives. You get a network with other 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, and then you get treated like kings and queens because these are my clients. So they, full board, premium, all-inclusive activities, surfing, scuba diving, swimming with whale sharks, dolphin sunset cruises, everything for 5 nights. Wow. And
it was a lot of fun. It's my first little event, but
that sounds amazing. So what's their takeaway there, aside from the experience and the networking? Obviously you sell the high ticket mastermind, but are they getting additional coaching out of that? What's the takeaway, if you will?
It's interesting because I've been a part of a lot of masterminds and groups myself, and so some are like the year-long programs, like this one, like I think the reason why they wanted to come was one is just once in a lifetime vacay where normally this would cost them like $100,000, but to get it at the fraction of a price because I have those connections. So to kind of live and party like a celebrity, you know, normally these hotels are like 20, 30, 40,000 a night.
Yeah.
Um, so that that was something cool for them, just like VIP and exclusive. But then
Oh yeah.
also once they joined it, then they get into my travel network. So I'm like, hey, if you want to also travel like me and get whether 50 to 80% off hotels, Marriott Bonvoy hotels, like we
Mhm.
have all those connections all around the world. And so we have those special passes. We have all the travel growth hack passes, and then I also teach them how to travel the world for free. So yeah,
Look at
with,
that.
with Instagram, and then the next step from there is they purchase a big travel Instagram page from me. They're part of my six
That
million yeah, travel network,
that's your
and then
next. That's your value ladder. Is you basically after that, the call to action or your offer is to basically allow them to kind of buy in at a travel group that you've curated.
yeah, well the membership, so they get to be a part of my 6 million travel network.
Hmm.
So if they need posts on some of these bigger pages, then we give them wholesale pricing. Like it's like, like $50 or $100 on it, like one of our 3 million follower accounts,
Hmm.
instead of like a couple thousand. So that's huge because when you're approaching like a celebrity or someone you want to partner with or like a
Hmm.
hotel, and they see that you have like a 6 million travel network and you get posts on that page, that's massive exposure for them. And that's gonna give you like 2 weeks for free at a hotel.
Oh
If
snap!
you have a honeymoon or vacation or anniversary, instead of spending like 20K or 50K or whatever, it
Hmm.
depends on your taste too, right? You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get free. And so that's it. The mastermind, like travel group, they can buy my travel course. They can just hire us to um, manage and grow their travel Instagram account. But then the high ticket is, yeah, the mastermind, and then they buy it like 100,000 follower Instagram account from me because I'm like, you can do posts, but it's better to have your own assets, have your own page.
Oh yeah.
So then they buy a page from me, they buy it into my membership group, and then most of them end up hiring my company Assistagram to just grow their accounts and do everything for them, do the outreach, steal these deals with the hotels. So we have full blown service.
Which
This
is
is
kind
just
of
for fun, though. This is just for fun. Travel is a passion of mine.
copy. So literally just leisure.
Yeah, it's and you asked about the content. It's really just the networking, the vacation, creating memories with new epic people in an epic spot, and getting some of these travel perks and benefits. But there's not a lot of content there. Like it's
Hmm.
maybe you know 1 or 2 sessions a day max, right? Like the rest is just networking because life's all about people and helping each other.
That it is, man. Well, good, and kind of continue on that dovetail because the other question I want to kind of lead this through is like your ability to service your clients and grow accounts. So you said that's kind of the higher, kind of highest level there. So, how do you do that? Like, what type of clients do you attract aside from this kind of funnel? And you talked a little bit about some strategies that you potentially could go over. So if you can kind of shed some light on Assistagram, what type of clients that you attract, and what services you offer them.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to say like, just the repost strategy that I use for my Zach Vacay account. It's just one of the many dozens of strategies that we use. So some people they're like, oh, like, I have a little bit more money to invest, and I just want to post my own original content. Can you just create it and do everything for me? And so think of Assistagram as like, your own personal virtual assistant, dedicated a team that's doing everything for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like social media ghostwriting. Like a lot of us, they're like, oh, what to post, what to write. You hop on an interview with us, we interview you, we write everything, we pull the stories out and the wisdom, knowledge, value bombs out from you. and do everything for you, from content creation, posting 7 days a week, engagement groups, getting other influencers and people to like and comment on your post, which
Mm-hmm.
creates kind of a ripple effect and gets your content exposed on their pages. We do outreach, lead generation, replying to comments, like the whole works. Like there's uh, everything, yeah, that we do like is all done for you.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
what?
it's done for you, or it's like, hey, you handle the content. If you have an in-house team, we handle the growth. So it's really just two options.
And what type of, like, your students that you're taking through your clientele, that you're growing their pages, and whether you produce the content or just the growth or both, what industries are they in? What are they actually trying to sell? What businesses are they promoting?
I have to say that we work with a lot of like coaches, really, and I mean we do work with other like gyms, do e-commerce brands, help them grow and build a brand around on Instagram. It's cool for a new like revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say majority of clientele is coaches, authors, podcasters,
Mm-hmm.
people that just basically anybody that just wants to like launch something, whether it's a product uh, or it's like they want to get more members and clients for their coaching business. So, and some people like those are the two, like I would say, like for kind of lower ticket offers where it's around like a couple thousand, 3,000 a month.
Okay.
Then so we have some of the big dogs, right? That like Russell Brunson or like those levels too, right? Where they really want to like skyrocket and grow fast
Oh
and
yeah.
go and reach millions. So
And
we
did you say for Russell specifically? Because I know Assistagram is focused on IG or Instagram, but you mentioned LinkedIn as well. So is that a service that you also offer?
yeah, we made a really cool partnership with my other buddies in LA, and so we're doing like Prince Ia's. He got over 3 billion views on social media doing his LinkedIn, um, like Russell's. So yeah, it's going really well, and we're helping them get millions of views on LinkedIn every month. And so it's interesting because it's when I think you become a celebrity influencer, it's more just about a brand play and brand play monetization. Just being
Mm-hmm.
omnipresent and having content reach millions. They just want to reach more people and help more people.
Yeah.
And so that's really what it is. But with the LinkedIn, especially, like we've really created a cool program where we get people leads and help them monetize as well. It's fully done for you, automated. So
Now, when I'm hearing this, obviously you're looking at brands and influencers that are kind of, marketing kind of either, I guess, nationally or internationally, globally, bringing this down to kind of our audience who are fitness people, are interested in launching their own fitness business, and certainly could be an online platform, but also like a brick and mortar facility. So, what sort of guidance or tips or strategies or insights can you provide a local gym owner to really grow their social media presence and really, be able to attract more clients and really grow their business?
yeah, so step one for most people is to get over 10,000 followers, because when you have 10,000 followers, you can do the Instagram story swipe ups and drive people to your offer and put website links in your stories. So
Okay.
first, what we do is optimize the account. Make sure you have a good looking bio. You have a funnel like in there to capture leads and get you over 10,000 followers. The second thing that we do is just help people like reach more people locally through hashtags, geo-targeted hashtags, and running ads. So we can run Instagram ads, and really it's about like the brand play, right? Like showing people like the atmosphere, like the community, like what you guys do, what you're about. And then it's just really getting those creatives out there that are designed for my team to target the right people and bringing them in a door, whether it's like a free like one-time offer
Mm-hmm.
or it's like something like special that which gets them really excited and want to actually make that step and come in and visit or book or a coaching session with you. So it's just simply that. Like that's all we do, like Instagram wise. But then locally, like we can also do like PR. So we can get people like high visibility press, like, and if you have like an article like on Forbes or like Thrive Global one of these like tier 1 publications, you can also like post that up and then run traffic to your local market, where it's like, cool, this guy, gym owner, they've been featured in Forbes. Like this is legit. Like they're experts at this. They're sharing advice. They're giving value. They have cool testimonials.
Right.
And it's that street cred. Like, okay, like that's what differentiates like someone that's like, oh, this person's been in the news and Forbes and everyone's talking about them. They're the buzz. Like, it's something new and hot. Like, let me check this out.
It's like building that authority factor, and to your point, taking that authority and leveraging it, and even so is it fair to say that you're able to service clients that grow their business internationally, but also at the local level, and you can leverage that content to help them their business both globally and locally?
Right, you got to start in your backyard and build from there, and then after that, it's just like you keep going up, right? It's like I did. I started in Iowa, just like Des Moines, Iowa. It's like no Asian people really. Like I was like the only Asian person, at least in my high school, and then doing breakdance. And then I started traveling around other parts of Iowa, and then Midwest, Kansas, Nebraska, everywhere, right? So that's what we do. We start out small, and then we help people take them from small to bigger influencers.
Heck yeah, man. Well, kind of dovetailing and transitioning, I think, being that we're in the global age and technology is happening so fast and internet and platforms come and go, what would you say is the future of Assistagram and really the future of social marketing? And granted, no one has a crystal ball, but love your insights, not only in your own company, but also what platforms you see, continue to explode in the next handful of years.
Yeah. So like Clubhouse is really taken off. Like, there's a lot of people are doing that, and there's a couple other platforms, but still it's like people are tying and linking their Instagram accounts and linking their LinkedIn accounts to like Clubhouse. So I would say like Instagram still got a lot of potential and a lot of like cool new features that they're rolling out. And I know Mark Zuckerberg, he's even announced on his Facebook post, he's like, these new products like for Facebook, IG are like fire, right? So it's like when you're with a company like that, like just more and more cool features and tools will be popping out. So I think Assistagram's future is bright. Like what we're doing and focusing on now is just helping other people and influencers especially create brands and their own products, help them sell their own products on Instagram, and to create that other revenue stream. Because now that they have influence, now that they have a big engaged following, how can you monetize it more? And if you have raving fans, then they'll want to buy your stuff and buy your merch and buy your products. So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So kind of diving a little bit deeper before we transition here, but what would you say, for the someone watching at home again who's interested in entrepreneurship, interested in business, interested in fitness, that potentially doesn't know some knowledge bomb or value that maybe they should around the social media space? Can you shed some light and be able to provide some value on, again, something that a business entrepreneur should know about social, but maybe doesn't?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first thing is like let's say like you can use this for Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or any social media platform, but I'm always like very like real and raw, like vulnerable with my types of content. So you'll see me talking on Facebook or like LinkedIn about times where I've maybe lost my biggest deal or failed or made one of my biggest mistakes and, learned like X from it. So I'm doing like pains and then the gains, like what I learned from it. And I think anytime that you can be vulnerable and keep it real with your audience, like they're going to resonate with that and respect that. And people also just love like givers, right? It's like, when you just simply give and really post valuable content that really helps people or gives them like something that's normally $1,000 or $2,000, like what that you normally charge for, and say, hey, like I'm just like feeling good, or it's just something, it's been on my mind. It's like I really just want to do this for you guys because a lot of people reach out to me, and I want to offer this, for free. Normally it's a couple thousand. It's one of my programs, but I just want to get people some more results. And I think people love that stuff when it's just like they can see you just giving and freely giving, no strings attached.
Heck yeah, man. Loaded question. I'm really, asking you to pump your own tires a little bit, but would you say that's your zone of genius, or maybe you can provide the audience on, why, Zach, you've been so successful? What is your zone of genius?
Yeah, and then also like, yeah, it's like my zone of genius would have to be like, I think like networking, really, because that's how I built my business, is just through word of mouth. Like Bryce, I've never spent like $1 on really on ads. Like, I mean, I haven't like any digital marketing like for growing like my Assistagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been through word of mouth, like getting my way into like Ritz-Carlton, right? Getting Ritz-Carlton as a client, Robert Kiyosaki.
Which I wanted to talk to you about, because I literally just saw, I think it was a month ago, that you were on his podcast, or I saw some social post. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and how that came to be?
Yeah, and so it's just knowing the right people and then striking a deal, because even with like, yeah, I mean everyone, right? It's like they all want a deal. So like I was like basically introduced to Robert Kiyosaki by one of my other friends named Mark Anthony Bates, and he's part of like War Room and good friends with like Perry and Ryan Roland, all those guys at Digital Marketing. Mm-hmm. And Mark knew the president at Rich Dad for over 20 years, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to meet Zach. You got to use him for some stuff." So that then Robert and I ended up working together on some things, and it was negotiation part too. It's like show people some love, they show you love, right?
Yeah,
you
man.
Can save them some money. You can also ask for some favors, and I think that's love and respect to them. Where it's like, okay, like Zach like loves and respects me. He's willing to lower his monthly retainers and prices. Hey, that's love, right? Then in return, you can also ask for a favor.
Yeah. And Zach, yeah. I was kind of leading the witness a little bit, because knowing you and just seeing you interact with people and within my network, you're a giver, and that law is reciprocity. So I knew that about you, and you were kind of throwing that knowledge bomb. And it was a loaded question, because from my perspective, I think that's, one of many reasons why you've been successful.
Yeah, and I just keep on doing that even to this day. It's like, if I can just over deliver in value, right? It just surprises them. It's like, hey, we didn't deliver on this one thing because of X, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give you 20 more things for free, and they're like, what? Like, okay, that's crazy, And so I'm always just trying to figure out ways to just make people feel better and deliver more.
Good on you, man. Well, you've been so gracious with your time already. You've dropped some awesome knowledge bombs. I want to, be respectful of that and kind of transition to the final lightning round. And really, this is an opportunity for you to impart some additional and last piece of knowledge on the audience, if you're up for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, brother. Well, first and foremost, what is Zach Benson most passionate about today, and why?
It's travel, because for me, like, life is all about people and seeing how people like live and arrange their lives. Like, that's culture to me. So the more people I meet, the more people I think I can help, and together like we can create win-win ideas to impact more people. So love travel. Yeah,
love it, man. We're cut from the same cloth. I'm with you there. Next up, before the success that you've achieved today with all your accolades and traveling the world and just doing amazing things with Assistagram and beyond, looking back at your younger self, what would you say was the one big obstacle holding you back, and how did you overcome it?
Big obstacle for me was just my speech impediment, really. Because I literally never talked to people, like never spoke in class unless I was forced to and had to read or do like a public speech. And so I just simply never said the letter R, a word with the letter R in it, until I was in my 20s. So that held me back. Yeah. So I think if I could have like gotten over that and just how I did was I just stopped trying so hard. My speech therapist was like, you gotta like curl your tongue like this and do all these tongue exercises and practice all these words. And I was trying so hard that I was just I was messing it up. And when I started to just relax, and another friend at a conference told me, just your ideas and opinions matter. Just speak, just talk. I can't hear you. you talk normally, you talk fine. Just stop caring just what other people think and just be you. I wish I could have learned that lesson more, where the lesson of not being afraid of looking bad, because I was afraid what other people thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I stopped that, I'm like, okay, I don't care what people think. That's what really skyrocketed my success, because then I started to just do outreach and hit up famous celebrities and hit up Holy Studios, and like that's when I got the confidence. I'm like, I don't care about rejection. It's part of life.
Part of life, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm a huge believer in Stoic philosophy. I follow Ryan Holiday, and one of the things about Stoicism is about, focusing on completely only what you can control and pushing away everything outside of your control. And to your point, what people think of you or what their opinions are is outside of your control. So why you're going to be focused on that? And of course, it's easier said than done. We're wired as a tribal being, but anyone of any success, any of my friends, colleagues, that have really achieved massive success have really taken a playbook or taken a page out of that playbook.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, habits, man. Especially being so successful in business, and other accolades from dance and coaching, etc. What would you say would be one of your best habits that you've acquired that's really led to the success, both personally and professionally?
It's got to be like my workouts. I have a habit of just like simply working out twice a day. I do it for like my mental health and also just take a break from work. But I feel like when I have putting my workouts first, then everything else becomes better. And also I read. I have a habit of just reading 10 pages of a good book a day.
Well, that actually leads me to my next question, Zach, which is, what would be your best book or recommendation for Fitness Franchise Nation, and why?
The Go-Giver.
Oh,
I love the Go-Giver book. They have a Go-Giver series, but I think it's by Bob. But yeah, Go-Giver, right? And it's
Go-Giver,
really it's just like, again, I think everybody has their own agendas. Everybody's thinking like, oh, like what can I get from this person, or like if I talk to this person, then will this person become my client or customer? And so we're kind of like always thinking about ourselves, like to a certain extent, being selfish. But I think when you can just simply put everything, all agendas aside, and just simply like express a genuine interest in others and really hear them and listen to them and understand them, like understand what they're about and what they're passionate, how you can maybe just provide some free value and help them, then that can really open up doors and grow your business.
Heck yeah, man. All right, my friend, this has been awesome. One last final question, and you've dropped so much knowledge, so much value today, so I want to appreciate and acknowledge you for that. But what would you say for our audience at home, again, interested in entrepreneurship, taking that next step, potentially open a fitness business? What would be a big parting piece of wisdom that will help them on their journey?
Yeah, I guess the best advice that I can give is like, I think a lot of us just hope that someone will be coming, like knocking on our door, like, new clients will just be coming and flowing. But the reason that both my coaching and the Assistagram business became so successful is because we did massive outreach and guerrilla tactics and strategies to get and build our customer base and reward them with some cool like incentives and gifts for bringing on more clients. So I really do feel like fitness and coaching is partly a word of mouth business.
Oh yeah.
And you can still build massive businesses from that. Like it's doing that. But then also like I see it like to really grow and scale like coaching business or like e-com or just like your business in general. Like when you have an offer that works, like you can scale it with digital marketing and Instagram marketing and ads, right? So I think the combo is good. I would lay that foundation first where it's like people are just singing your praises every single day to their friends and family, saying that you're the guy, or this is the gym, you got to work out here. These people are awesome. And then from there, like once you have more money coming in, spending that on digital marketing and advertising could be helpful.
Heck yeah, man. My friend, this has been awesome. As we kind of wind down here, where can our audience connect with you at?
Yeah. Well, I'd love to connect with you guys. I would love to connect with you guys and hear your stories and figure out ways that we can support and help each other and create win-wins. So you can hit me up on Instagram. Zach Vacay is my personal Instagram account. You can also just find me on Facebook, and company website Assistagram.com. And if you need any help with Instagram or you want to grab our free growth guide, go there. And yeah, I would love to talk to you.
Zach, my friend, dude, this has been awesome and so super grateful for your time. I know you're a busy guy traveling, and as we shoot this, it's Friday here, Saturday morning in Seoul. So I want to thank you, acknowledge you. You've dropped a lot of value today for our audience. I know you've helped a lot of people, a lot of clients, and it's been really great to getting to know you. I look forward to continuing to develop our relationship, and I just want to take the time and acknowledge you for being the kind-hearted guy that you are. That means a lot to me, and it's meant a lot to our audience. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bryce. This has been a lot of fun, and yeah, this was good. You're a really good interviewer.
Oh man, well thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. And aside from that, my friends, before we go, if you could please go ahead and give this video a like and a subscribe on YouTube. In addition to writing an awesome review on iTunes, that would really help the channel and allow myself and my whole team to be able to provide continued content. So without further ado, thanks again, and thanks Zach. Really appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.